Welcome to my spooky season with Make It Fashion video. This is not a Halloween costume DIY in any way, but it is spooky season. It is end of October now, and I'm well and truly and deeply into binge watching all of my favorite spooky season movies and TV shows. I just finished watching Interview with a Vampire, the new version, the series, not the 1994 movie, which I also love. I also watched The Witches of Eastwick again, and Practical Magic, and Hocus Pocus, and all of my favorite spooky season movies. Not big into horror movies, but a movie set in October with fancy dresses and a little bit of magic, count me in. I gotta de-stash a little bit. I have a series here on my channel called De-Stashing It, where I use fabrics from my fabric stash that I've been meaning to work with for some amount of time, but for some reason didn't get to. This week is one of those weeks. We're gonna tackle my leftovers, we're gonna tackle fabrics that I've not gotten to, and we're gonna make ethereal, whimsical, witchy outfits that fit the season that we're in. Like I said, not a Halloween costume DIY. However, the category is, if you saw this in Practical Magic, would it work? Then it's a thumbs up. I'm definitely gonna orient myself on darker colors. For some reason, I don't often get to make black garments because I'm always kind of drawn to the colorful, beautiful, floral, shiny fabrics. So the black fabrics in my stash are always kind of like the step sisters that never really get touched. So that's also another criteria for any make this week. Ideally, I want to get through 3 fabrics that I have already laid out here. Right, that's the vibe. Let's get going. All right, we'll start off with something easy, or I hope at least it's gonna be easy. I have this fabric right here, which is a pre-shirred polyester gauze, maybe, I would say. Very hard to describe. I want to make this into a long sleeved top, and I'm taking specific inspiration for this from one of the Essential Club's DIYs. She made a long sleeve top out of a scarf that had a very similar texture to this fabric. So that's my inspiration. I'm now gonna try and suss out how I'm gonna do it. Okay, step number 1. YouTube, The Essentials Club. I'm going to rewatch that. How am I gonna find it though? Videos. Oh, there it is.
If you are an OG watcher of this channel and you remember my initial videos, this is where it all started. Back inspired, and you do want to make something like this, try and find a top that, even if it's just a regular top.
Yeah, okay, well, she's just using a top to template the pattern, which is not what we're looking for, is it? Okay, let me do some thinking. I definitely want to utilize the selvage down here as my natural cuff for the sleeves, and potentially also for the length of the top. Let me quickly sketch this out. It's gonna have a very organic shape. I want to make it a bit longer than I would usually go for because it's supposed to be comfy, cozy, and I can style it different ways. I want like really long sleeves, a very, very simple yet texturally striking top. So the shape is pretty straightforward, but how am I going to cut this? Okay, so this is the selvage I want to use, which means I will have to fold it like that, probably. Okay, well, maybe we do need a top. Okay, look, so I've got this top here that I bought at H&M some while back, and I'm afraid I'll have to use this as a template for what I want to make. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I folded this once and now fold it again, so I have 4 layers and 2 folds on top of each other, if that makes sense. Exactly like that, because I want to try and get it as symmetrical as possible. So there's 2 folds right here. Now I'm going to fold this shirt that I have in half, and I'm going to place it with the center front at the fold. So the selvage is extra, and then also up here there is a sheared part around the neck, which I think could come in handy. I have something that potentially looks like a shirt. That looks promising, I think. Anyways, that's the main bodice. And then for the sleeves, Okay, free styling here. We love it. That's what we do when we're destashing. So step one is to search the side seams and hope for the best. Now that I've sewn the bodice together, I will have to serge the sides of my sleeves before I can then fit them into the shirt. Right, sleeves are sewn together, and now I can try and fit them into the bodice. So let's see how that works. Okay, we have a shirt. I do want to fit it a little bit differently. The shoulders are too low, so I want to raise them, and I also want to take in the sleeves, but then this could be something. Day 2 in our spooky season but make it fashion DIY week. I finished this yesterday. I'm pretty chuffed about it, but I'm not going to show you what it looks like on me because I'll keep that for the final reveal. Today I'm going to be working with a polka dotted mesh tool, which looks like this. I literally bought this last year. I've had this forever. And I'm thinking I want to make a ruffled skirt with this, and I want to keep the construction effort minimal. Call me lazy, I'd rather say work smart, not hard. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Alright, so I have plenty of this fabric, and normally you would obviously fold it selvage to selvage and cut whatever you need like that. I instead am going to have it lengthwise, so the selvage is technically along my waist, and then I'm going to halve the fabric, not quite half. I'm going to make sure that the top layer is about mini skirt length, like about so, and that's going to be the 2 layers of my tulle skirt. And then I'm going to ruffle it up. I don't know if this makes any sense to you, but it's obviously going to be a gathered skirt, so we're going to have 2 layers, a shorter one and a longer one. Both of them are going to be ruffled, and I'm simply going to do that with an elastic waistband. So really now it's just about making the decision how much width I want in the skirt, because I think doing the total thing is going to be a little bit too much. So I'm going to cut off, maybe this is how much width I'm going to use, which I'm going to gather down. So I'm going to cut away the wrist. So the first thing I'll do is I'll fold my remaining piece like this, and I'm going to serge down the open side to create a loop. Okay, so now that the loop is created and the side is closed, or I'll consider this my center back, I'm folding it so that I have these 2 layers that I was talking about. And now we can try and gather up the waist. Okay, so I've got some waistband elastic here, which I'm going to fold around my waist. I want to keep it cozy, not too tight. Yeah, that feels good. Also, we need to consider that the fabric that's going to gather in that section is going to make it a little tighter, so I'll give myself a little bit of ease to make sure there's enough room. So I now have to have a think about how I'm going to gather up my skirt. I think the easiest thing will be to create a tunnel on top in this section and then just feed the elastic through it. So what I'm going to do is I'll pin my fold down so it stays where it is right now, and then I'll take this to my machine and create a tunnel up here that is wide enough to hold my elastic. Just placing my elastic into my sewing machine to see where I need to place the fold on my skirt. So this is where the fold of my skirt is going to be placed. The elastic is 3 centimeters. We have a waistband. Look at that. I should give it a try. So naturally the skirt is see-through. I have this really fun mesh material here in a flesh color. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut a strip of it and make it as long as the first layer of the skirt. So from the mini layer, it's gonna be see-through, and above that, we're gonna have a nice semi-opaqueness, opaque enough. Okay, so I now have this lining skirt layer. I removed the elastic from my skirt once again, just so I have an easier time attaching the lining. And now I'm grabbing my skirt and I'm having a think about how to attach this. My underskirt layer isn't quite as wide as my polka dotted mesh, so I'll have to retrofit this a little bit. Skirt, and we're not going to show our undies, which is great. Amazing. That's what it looks like. So you can see from the outside it's more opaque than it was, and on the inside we have a clean finish along the waistband. And now I'm going to go and feed the elastic in once more. Day 3 in spooky but make fashion land, we have the comeback of a crowd favorite, which is this beautiful Liberty silk. If you've been around here for a while, you might recognize this as the fabric that I used to make the Frankie dupe by Reformation earlier this year. I think it was June, and a lot of people really loved this. So I have plenty of fabric left, as I alluded to in that video. So today is the day to make another dress from this. I want to make something that is a little bit more day-to-day. To be completely honest with you, the Frankie dress that I made back then is a great occasion wear dress, but it's not so much something that I could wear every day. Naturally, silk isn't really something that you would wear every day, but I do think if it has a comfortable fit and a comfortable silhouette and cut, then you could potentially wear it more often. I'm going to use this, and the one thing that I purchased this week for my makes is this beautiful lace border that I'm going to use to decorate the neckline of the dress. Let me show you what I'm thinking in terms of design. All right, so got my materials here, and now let me draw the silhouette that I'm thinking. It's gonna be pretty straightforward, and it's gonna be reminiscent of a dress that I made that was inspired by Reformation, no, not Reformation, Realization Par. And it has a very, very simple V-necked neckline and no sleeves. And what I want to do is I want to give it a nice A-line skirt that is relatively long. I need to see how much fabric I have and how much it allows me to do with it. But this will be nice. A lot of people will go and cut it on the bias. I would do that, but I don't think I have enough fabric for it, so I will just have to cut it along the grain line and give it a nice A shape to give it a bit of a flare, and that's about it. And then I'm gonna use this nice border and I'm gonna feed it into the neckline all around, as well as the armholes here. And I think this is going to give it a nice detail, which is, if you agree, very practical magic inspired. Very 90s, that is. So it's a simple slip dress that should be suitable for everyday wear, but at the same time, because of the fabric choice, it's gonna look really nice and refined. So now I need to have a think about the pattern. Right, so this is my pattern map. This holds most of my patterns that I've used in the last couple of years, including prints of my own digital patterns. I sorted this out a couple months ago, and I just held on to the ones that I think I'm going to reuse, or thought I was going to reuse at the time. So let me see if this includes this Realization Par dress that I made. I'm sort of thinking I might not have that pattern anymore. V-neck mini dress, that could be it. Oh yeah. I'm gonna use that as a reference anyways. I'm not gonna reuse it as is, I don't think. I'm just gonna use it as a starting point. Okay, so my pieces are cut now, and I'm going to start out by attaching my front bust pieces to my front skirt piece. And I'm going to ruffle the ease that I accounted for in the bust section. That is going to give it a nice lift in that area instead of a dart. And of course I'm going to try and make sure that I do it the same way on both sides. Okay, so the inside of my front and back both look like this now. I have serged my seams, and now I can go ahead, place the front side right side up so I can see the outside, and then I'm going to place the back side right sides touching like this. And now I can start to pin together the sides, making sure that my underbust seams match. And then I'll take it from there. Okay, not bad at all. Quite happy with this. It's a little bit shorter than I would have hoped, just because I wanted like a nice long dress, but I didn't have quite enough fabric. But I think it's okay. And also when I add the nice border, it's gonna make it visually just a little bit longer. I need to take it in a little bit on the sides, and then I can add my lace. So something I want to do but kind of forgot about, I want to add some bands to my side seams so I can tie them up in the back and have a bit of a more fitted silhouette from the front. So I'm just gonna create a thin spaghetti strap with this strip of fabric right here. So I have these two strips here now, and I'm going to open a small section in my side seam area so I can actually feed it in. Just opening it by a small amount, and then I'm going to go in from the right side and try to fiddle the end through this hole. Place a pin, doing that on the same side, and then I'll take this side in a little bit and serge my sides. Alright, I've got the assembled dress and I've got my trim, and now I need to attach the trim to the dress. So what I want is to have the trim all around the neckline and my armholes before I then move on to my hem. But the trim is a little bit too wide to have it like this, so I will have to first measure the exact amount that I need for it to go into all the places I want it to. So I'm just using my tape measure to do that. Okay, so 56 times 2 for the neckline. Let me write that down somewhere. And then for the armholes, so I'll then go and grab my trim. Now I have my trimmed back trim. And I can start attaching it to the neckline. I literally just came back from shooting this dress and I'm so stoked about it. This definitely comes in number 1 in my ranking of my 3 makes this week. This is so practical magic. It really hits the nail on its head and I just love it on me. I think it looks great. I am definitely going to wear this outside of spooky season. Coming in second is the long sleeved shirt that I made. I really like that one. That's a good wardrobe staple. I like wearing those types of shirts under dresses or with skirts in the colder season. And then coming in third is the polka dotted skirt, just because it's so out there and I don't really see myself wearing that a lot, like on a regular basis. So but I'm really happy that I came out with 2 makes that I really enjoy. What do you think? What's your ranking? Leave it in the comments and I'll see you next time. Bye.